Chapter 15, Section 7. Oh, I think this is the last section in the book, and it's simple interest. Oh, what a perfect topic to end on. How do I calculate the cost of borrowing money? This is a big one because, one of the things that we're not too great at humans is calculating costs, especially costs that are in the future. And so interest is one of these things that can really come up and bite you if you're not careful. So it's a really important section. Key idea. Simple interest is money earned on a savings account or an investment. Should probably stop right there. Savings accounts, if you take money that you don't want to have, just sitting out in the middle of your living room and you put it into a bank, you create a savings account. And the bank is going to pay you a little money for putting that money into their bank. And the reason that they're going to pay you a little money is because they're making money off of that money. They use that money to give out loans for cars and houses and things like that, and or more dangerously into the stock market. Anyways, investment. So you might put money into you might buy something that earns interest. Or you might say, hey, I'm going to loan somebody money and they're going to end up paying me not only the money I loaned them, but a little extra. So this simple interest can be money you pay for borrowing money. Borrowing money, after all, is not free. If you borrow money from somebody and go, I want to borrow $1,000 to buy a toothpick, they're going to say, hey, you better not just pay me $1,000 back, you need to pay me more than $1,000. That more is the simple interest. And it's equal to the principal, which is the amount of money that you borrow or is borrowed, times the annual interest rate. So really, this is the main idea here, is that you have a percentage of the amount that you borrowed that's going to be paid back. But if I say, hey, I'm going to borrow, $1,000 from you for 1,000,000 years, you would imagine that the interest has to be a lot higher because that's a long time. Let's not say 1,000,000 years. Let's say 10 years versus 1 year. You should expect to get paid more after 10 years than 1 year. And that's why we also multiply by time here. Time is one of the factors. So to find the interest, we have the amount that you borrow times the interest rate, which is a percentage per year, times the number of years. Let's go ahead and go on to an example and see if we can understand this better by actually seeing a scenario under which simple interest is being used. Okay, what is interest is our question here, and let's make sure that we keep that in mind. This is the cost of borrowing money. So if you lend me $1,000 to buy one earbud, and I pay you back 5 years later, would you be happy? Well, now wait a second. You're going to give me $1,000 and I'm not going to pay you back for 5 years? I would hope you would say, no, I wouldn't. Because I had to give up $1,000 for a whole how long? 5 years. That's not fair. I agree with you. It's not fair. So interest is the cost of borrowing. Instead of me just paying $1,000 back to you, which is called the principal or how much was borrowed, I pay you $1,000 plus a little extra called the interest. So let's make sure we have this right by just going over it one more time. Interest is the cost of borrowing. Instead of me just paying $1,000 back, $1,000 is the principal. I pay you $1,000 plus a little extra, which is called the interest. The longer you borrow, the blank the cost, the higher the cost. Right? Which makes sense. Because if I borrow for a long time, you should be expected to get more money back. When you pay back the lender, you pay both the principal, the amount that you borrowed, and you pay the interest. And together, all of the money you pay back, the principal, the amount you borrowed, and the interest is called the balance. And this balance is super important because that's how much you actually end up paying back. Okay, principal is the blank that is borrowed, the amount that is borrowed. Interest is the blank of borrowing money, the cost of borrowing money. Balance is the amount you pay back after borrowing, including both the principal and the what? Come on, you better get this. It starts with an I. Ends with interest. Yeah, that's right. It's the interest. Wait, I hope you got that. I guess I couldn't know if you did or didn't. Anyways, that's the end of part 1. I'll be right back for part 2.